What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my review of Raw and Smackdown for this week. Now, before we do begin, I do have a couple of announcements. First things first, my first anime review, that was a lot of firsts, is on the channel up right now. It is for Yu-Gi-Oh!, a childhood favorite of mine, and I know it's an older one, but I wanted to review it. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that for all my anime reviews. I'm not going to just review all the newer ones. I'm going to go back reviewing classics, new anime, everything is fair game. Second off, I do have a new list of Nerdy Mark that will be hopefully sometime next week, early next week, so be on the lookout for that. Finally, this is the most exciting one. I will be on the Omega Cast once again with my good friends JP Whitman and John Kearns. These two guys are fantastic. They have a great podcast. They cover everything WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact, you name it. If it's a wrestling promotion, they are covering it on their channel. Check them out, and they're really good. They did recently do a review of New Japan's Dominion, which, by the way, I'm still watching it by the time of me recording this, so I need to finish that up. But I do know that Jericho won the Intercontinental title, and Omega, my favorite wrestler, won the heavyweight title. So congratulations to both of them. I'm going to be, as I mentioned, on their channel. We're going to be talking Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about TakeOver and maybe a little 205 Live, all that good stuff. So definitely check them out, the Omega Cast. I'll leave a link to their channel in the description below. Good stuff. Both you guys keep doing your thing, and I'm excited to be on their podcast next week. So these are the final episodes of Raw and Smackdown before Money in the Bank, the go-home shows. So I guess you could say that this week we're taking it to the bank. So Raw does take place in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it starts with all of the competitors in the Money in the Bank ladder match, both the men's and the women's. They're all standing atop of ladders, perfectly safe. We have Kurt Angle coming out and talking about how the Money in the Bank ladder match is the most grueling match ever in WWE. So I guess we're just going to completely forget about TLC, Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, Iron Man matches, Last Man Standing. Cool, no problem. This prompts Baron Corbin to come out, who finally shaved his head. He's bald. I would have loved to see him in a hair versus hair match against Roman Reigns, just because people would have cheered for Roman Reigns because they really would want Baron Corbin to lose so that he would have to shave his head. WWE and the fans would each get what they really wanted. But I guess Vince McMahon just doesn't have that sort of brain power capacity anymore. Or did he ever? I don't know. But I digress. Baron Corbin does mention to all the competitors that both briefcases need to come back to the Raw brand, or else Stephanie McMahon is going to be very, very angry. This prompts all the competitors to argue about how they're going to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. Everyone's like, no, I'm going to win the match. 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 This prompts two fatal four-ways between the qualifiers for the men's match and the women's match. And we start Monday Night Raw off with the women's fatal four-way. So the fatal four-way for the women's does begin, and it starts out with Alexa Bliss finally coming out to her own entrance, which actually I kind of liked because it kind of shows how much of an entitled heel she is. Like, I need my entrance. I can't come out like this. I need to get my own entrance because I'm special. This was a really fun match. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining, very chaotic. See, another match that's just as grueling as Money in the Bank. The match does end with Natalya, bad leg and all, putting the sharpshooter onto Alexa Bliss and her winning this match. Up next, we have Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre taking on Breezango. Long story short, this is a squash match. Dolph and Drew beat Breezango in a matter of seconds. I think the match didn't go on for more than 2 minutes, and they already hit the Claymore zigzag combo, and they do cut a promo putting the entire tag team on notice. So this was good stuff. Looks like they're keeping these guys for a while. They're not going to break them up anytime soon, despite kind of sort of teasing it in the Battle Royal. I don't think these two are breaking up anytime soon, and honestly, I don't see any reason for them to. This is a really good dynamic in my opinion. So Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal have been going back and forth on social media. Jinder Mahal challenged Roman Reigns to a match and Roman Reigns accepted. So we got Roman Reigns, or at least we thought we were going to get Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. before we get them again on Sunday night, because this is the match that everyone is hyped up for. Jinder Mahal makes his way into the ring, and so does Roman Reigns. Jinder Mahal apparently is psychic, because apparently he can read minds. He says that you are not facing me, you're going to face the great, and we all think he's going to say Great Khali, but he says the great Sunil Singh. So Sunil Singh and Roman Reigns go at it. Another squash match, a spear and Superman punch later. Roman Reigns wins, but then Jinder Mahal does get into the ring and hit the Khalas for good measure, which means Jinder is losing at Money in the Bank. Yay. We now had the B team taking on Heath Slater and Rhino, and this was a very entertaining match as well. Really fun stuff. B team do go over. After this, we have Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt teleport into the entrance ramp and cut a promo saying that they're going to delete B team, and I'm actually excited for this match just because we get to see Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt in the ring once again. You know, the brothers fighting against each other. That's always good stuff to see. Up next, we do have Elias in the ring. He is singing a song about Seth Rollins as usual, and he's talking about how he's going to win at Money in the Bank, and he's going to take the IC title off of Seth Rollins. And John Mayer apparently gifted him with a guitar that has the Intercontinental Championship belt on it and Elias's name on it as well. It's actually a really nice looking guitar in my opinion, and Coach does think that John Mayer is a hip-hop artist because the only person that you listen to is Barry Manilow. Isn't it, Coach? This was a fun segment, and then Seth Rollins does interrupt. He comes out. Elias and Seth beat each other up. Rollins throws Elias outside of the ring. He looks at the custom-made guitar that Elias got from John Mayer, and he is basically teasing it and teasing it and teasing it, and until finally he does hit a curb stomp onto the guitar. And this was cool. As his music is playing, Seth Rollins takes the guitar and strums along to the music. I thought that was fantastic. That was good timing by Seth Rollins. I love that. We now have Ruby Riot versus Bayley. Bayley comes in first, and then before the Riot Squad come into the ring, they apparently have some time to throw snacks around, cut off a dude's tie, do Riot stuff, I guess. Ruby Riot and Bayley have a fine match. The Riot Squad do get involved with a distraction, which helps the Ruby Riot hit the Riot Kick on Bayley and win for the Riot Squad. And then afterwards, they vandalize Bayley. They draw on her face and draw a big, huge R on her stomach, very reminiscent of the NWO. So are we making them the female NWO? If that's the case, they should have done it quite some time back. We now have a face-to-face between the Irresistible Force, Nia Jax, and the Arm Collector, Ronda Rousey. And this is, of course, mediated by the Coach, because apparently he knows how to keep the peace in all these segments. This was fun. I liked it. I enjoyed Ronda's mic work in this, which is kind of very rare for me to say. There's still a lot of room for improvement for Ronda Rousey, but she's on that constant trajectory of improvement, so I'm happy to see that. Nia Jax does mention that there's a lot of things that she can do on WWE that they cannot do on UFC. By the way, congratulations to Ronda for being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Nia Jax mentions that she can pull people's hair and headbutt people. Not true, Nia, because when you pull someone's hair, the referee counts to 5. This, of course, angers Ronda. They have a standoff. Nia pushes Ronda Rousey. Ronda gets Nia Jax in the armbar, which she taps out to. This continuing the tension leading into Money in the Bank. So I'm excited for this match. Up next, No Way Jose taking on Kurt Hawkins. No Way Jose makes his way into the ring with his conga line, and Kurt Hawkins' music hits, and he does not come out. They play it again. He does come out from the back because he was dressed up as one of the people in the conga line. He tries to get an upset victory on No Way Jose, but that doesn't work. No Way Jose finishes him off in swift fashion, giving Kurt Hawkins his 201st loss. We now had the most unique but the most ridiculous segment in this show. Sami Zayn challenging Bobby Lashley to an obstacle course because he does not believe that Bobby Lashley actually served in the military. So he sets up this obstacle course, this huge elaborate obstacle course, and he goes through all the different obstacles in said course, and he says that he himself did it once and that he could do it in about a minute and a half with a bad hand as well. So let's see how Bobby Lashley does. So Bobby does come out, says that he's going to beat Sami Zayn at Money in the Bank. Then he proceeds to go and do this obstacle course in about 45 seconds. Sami Zayn is not happy. He attacks Bobby Lashley and swings on one of the ropes. This was weird. I've kind of grown numb to this feud. It is now time for our main event, but earlier on, Kevin Owens was trying to convince Finn Balor and Bobby Roode to work with him to take out Braun Strowman. Not a bad strategy. He even gives a bowl of olives to Finn Balor because it's an olive branch. The only thing that would have made it better is if he took a branch off of a tree and stuck some olives on it and said, here's an olive branch. Missed opportunity, WWE. They do finally agree to work together, but keeping an eye out on each other as well. That makes sense. And this match does happen, and it is a lot more chaotic than the women's match, and I loved it. This was a good main event. Very solid match between all four of these guys. Balor, Roode, and Owens do team up on Braun and take him out for most of the match, but Braun does emerge out of the rubble and wins. So, SmackDown Live does come to us from Memphis, Tennessee, and it starts out with the Women's Money in the Bank match summit. So we have all four of the qualifiers, Naomi, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Lana, and the summit is hosted by
Paycheck.
It's the same thing as Raw's opening segment, except it's not the men's and the women's competitors. It's just the women, and they're not standing on top of ladders. And every woman is just like, I'm going to win the briefcase. No, I'm going to win the briefcase. No, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Happy Rusev Day. Happy Lana Day. They are, of course, interrupted by the Iconics, who do crappy impressions of every single Money in the Bank qualifier, and they are of course joined by Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. They say that the women outside the ring are way more qualified to be in that match than the women inside the ring. This leads to an all-out brawl, which does result in a 8-woman tag match for the main event. So SmackDown Live was a night of firsts, and we kick it off with our first time ever match, and that is between Daniel Bryan and Shelton Benjamin. This was an amazing match. I really enjoyed this. Both are very fantastic competitors in the ring, really just keeping each other in check. I really enjoyed that. The match does end when Daniel Bryan goes for the yes lock, which Benjamin escapes out of, then transitions into the heel hook, which Benjamin does tap out to. Very well fought match by both these men. So up next, we do have Jerry the King Lawler come out because, of course, this is Memphis, Tennessee. He stands in the Gene Oakland position, and he invites AJ Styles to his position. Jerry the King Lawler does ask AJ Styles about Nakamura, to which AJ Styles apologizes for not getting the job done and for not knocking his head off of his shoulders. And he's going to win at Money in the Bank, despite the fact that it's a last man standing match. And this is the house that AJ Styles built, and he's phenomenal and too sweet. So earlier on backstage, we did have
Paycheck
walking towards her, what I can only assume is her office, and she is interrupted by Asuka, who says that she wants Carmella tonight. Paige then says that she will add Carmella and Asuka to the main event, making it a 10-woman tag team match later on. And then she is, of course, interrupted by The Miz, who is wearing a referee t-shirt, and he says that he is making a movie called Rough Referee, where he trains a dog to be a referee or something along those lines. Excited to see that movie. Can't wait for the trailer reaction coming soon. And he basically wants to be the guest referee in the match between Rusev and Samoa Joe, which we have next. After some convincing, Paige does agree and says, fine, you can be the guest referee. So we do now move on to Samoa Joe, who has Baron Corbin's hair on top of his head, versus Rusev. And we have the special guest referee, The Miz. A really good match. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I thought The Miz does a great job as referee. He does continue to egg both of them on and create like a rift between the two, which kind of is the whole point. I mean, it is every man for himself, so it really doesn't matter. The match does end when Samoa Joe does run into The Miz, who gets angry at Joe. This causes the distraction. Rusev hits the Machka kick, and beats Samoa Joe. This, of course, leads to our post-match angle where Samoa Joe tries to attack Rusev, but Rusev does throw Joe out of the ring. And from behind, The Miz does hit the skull-crushing finale onto Rusev. Miz then gets a ladder, sets it up, climbs up, and unhooks the Money in the Bank briefcase, and opens it up to find that it is just filled with pancakes. I wonder who that could be. Backstage, we do see that the New Day are there, and they apparently have superpowers because they were at Smackdown and at E3 at the same time. This was fun. I loved it. I'm excited to see what is on the horizon during the match, and I'm interested to see which member of the New Day is going to be at Money in the Bank. We have yet another first ever match. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsegae Nakamura. This is another match that I've really been hoping for. Another dream match. I hope that this is the feud that Nakamura has after AJ Styles. And good stuff by both men. I don't have any complaints. I think you should just go watch this match and watch all the other matches too. Watch Daniel Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin and Samoa Joe versus Rusev. Like these were all really good matches. But this one does end in a screwy finish, which kind of makes sense. Nakamura does finally resort to hitting a low blow out of nowhere, and it's super effective on Jeff Hardy, but it does get Nakamura disqualified, and he hits the Kinshasa on Jeff and counts to 10, continuing his mind games on AJ Styles. It is now time for our main event. We have all four women in the Money in the Bank ladder match, along with Asuka versus the Iconics, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Carmella. And at this point, Corey Graves is not even trying. He's just whipping it out for everyone else to see. This was a very chaotic match, and I really did like it as well. All of these women got their stuff in, and the match does end with Asuka and Carmella in the ring. Carmella does tap out to the Asuka lock, and I guess this means that she is retaining at Money in the Bank, but you never know. We'll see on Sunday, but usually when they do this right before a pay-per-view, it usually means that the champion is retaining. Will she have help from the Iconics? Will she have help from the former Absolution? We'll have to just wait and find out. Overall, I thought both shows were really good this week. I thought that they both did a great job building up towards Money in the Bank. Raw definitely seems to be starting to shake off the rust ever since the Superstar shakeup. And SmackDown continues to do its thing, continues to give us solid show after solid show, week after week. I'm happy with both shows. I don't think either of them was better, but both of them did its job, which is get me excited for Money in the Bank. And I'm excited for Money in the Bank now. So those are my thoughts on Raw and SmackDown for this week. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, vote in the poll above my head as to what you thought was the better show. Or if you didn't care, you can vote for that too. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.